Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is Bryan Steele and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. Hi everybody, and happy holidays. I know when this comes out it's still early, but there are some people who are already celebrating some holidays of their own. So let's just throw it out there collectively. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. I don't know the rest. Festivus to the rest of us. Just rock and roll. Enjoy your December. But let's dive in. Weekend Bryan. Personal-wise, the new service puppy, Mia, is doing well. She is learning how to dog. Mostly at this point, housebroken. As far as, I think we've had maybe one accident in the last couple of days. Still a little weird and off-put about going into the mudroom before going outside unless she really, really has to go. But apart from that, for the most part, doing good. She's not very destructive as a puppy, which is cool. She's lost her first puppy tooth. She is a slipper thief. I've never had a dog that legitimately takes your slippers and then wanders off with them, and she does. She collects all those slippers in the house and brings them to the living room, or brings them to wherever she happens to be, like, chilling out at the time. But, it's a cute thing to happen, I suppose. Yeah, so she's doing good. She did slip out of a section of our fence, but she is so young, she got terrified that she was outside of the fence and snuck back in. But our neighbor let us know, and I bricked up the part of the fence where she had kind of wriggled out underneath the chain links. And next time I get a decent paycheck, I'm probably going to need to put up some lattice work or something and drive stakes around the edge. Because while she will grow out of it, and she will grow too large to take advantage of any weaknesses in the fence, I don't want to risk it, I'm sure you're aware. Still going to the gym. I mentioned last week that I have slowed down the number of times I've gone, or the number of times I go until my schedule lightens up a little bit, and when this stupid tennis elbow thing goes away, it has been better. I can definitely tell that I'm resting it. Until I have to do something like pick up a 30-pound dog, or honestly adjust my blankets in a particular way, or pick up my laundry, or something like you don't even notice it's there until you know it's there, which is so awful. But I am planning on stepping it back up at the gym as soon as I can. Because I hate to say this, and I'm going to put it out in the world I'm going to put it out in the universe for the world to know. I miss it. I actually kind of miss the 3 times a week, get caught in my head, sauna time, that kind of thing. But I am getting a lot done, and I'm resting the elbow, and that's the whole point of this whole taking a break thing. So, yeah, here's to hoping. Other than that, personal wise, kids are doing well. Natalie's doing well. I mean, I think everything is okay. Everything is going all right. Knock on wood. Hobby wise, I still haven't done anything. I know I keep mentioning that I need to get back over there. But all of my spare time that I have, to step away from the computer, has been used to be putting together Tinker Turf terrain for the Adepticon the Eternal Champions event at Adepticon, getting that terrain put together, because I've got a lot of it. Thank you, TinkerTurf, for supplying us with 14 tables worth of your terrain, but it does require assembly and gluing, and I'm working my way through it slowly but surely. I'm becoming an expert on how to assemble the kind of mainstay parts of TinkerTurf stuff. Which, again, I love their stuff, and I'm super glad that they're helping us out for the tournament. I just have a lot. There's just a lot. I'm filling up these storage tubs, and I'm starting to wonder how I'm going to get them to Adepticon without renting a van. Hell, I might end up renting a van. But all that aside, that's my hobby time, is basically putting together TinkerTurf terrain. Gaming wise, I had two cool game things happen this last, I guess 3 since the last time we talked. Our Evil Genius staff playtest Intergalactic Heroes game. We got them out of, effectively there was a big kind of crunchy rules moment, and we spent a couple of different sessions really diving in, because it's an important set of the rules, and we wanted to make sure that we got them as fine-tuned as we could before we move on to the next part of the process. But we got through it as far as the game session goes, and I brought them to I brought the group to the kind of primary backdrop, the core narrative element in the Throne World Saga, which is our IP, which is Diadem Station, which is it's a multi-ring station built around the remnants of a very small moon in orbit around Throne World, around the primary the seat of the former kingdom. And it's kind of our Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5, Mos Eisley Cantina place. It's like our collective where anyone can go. It's Intergalactic Heroes Cheers. Anyone can go and they'll know your name. No. But it is very flavorful. It's a very it's a way for me to show the other members of the team just how much work we've put into the setting itself. And for some of these people, it will help them when they start to write adventures and things in the future, because they'll have firsthand, what has leaked out of here onto the page. They'll have firsthand experience with it, and they might be able to use that in their creations. So we got to do that. That was cool. My family Friendsmas party was this last weekend, and while we always worry that it's gonna only be a couple of people, or people aren't going to be able to make it because nobody RSVPs anymore. RSVP, it's huge. It's massive. It helps the host. But we had a great turnout. We had a bunch of people show up to play card games and board games and do our little gift exchange. But then also, Natalie really wanted me to run a holiday-themed one-shot for a handful of people. So for a few hours at the party, I had a table of D&D players on a little one-shot adventure about helping out a couple of Celestials deliver gifts to a bunch of houses who are set up for this holiday ritual, and it was fun. It was a good time. I won't get too deep into it, but it was a lot of fun. The players had a good time, and it was an interesting way to spend some of my Friendsmas, was playing DM to some of my closest friends. And then the following day, actually, I ended up getting to go to another playtest session of a different game that I'm working on for Point One Games, which we had a great time. I don't get to be a player as often as I'd like. I have to DM quite a bit because of the whole playtesting thing. So in this instance, because I am just an outside helper, an outside freelancer on that project, it's very cool to get the creator to run a game and be part of it and discuss things afterwards. And I think we figured out some cool stuff. I think we uncovered a couple of hiccups in the magic system, and not like, super detrimental, just little things. And we finished up his quick start style adventure, his kind of like, hey, here's a taste of the world. And I think he did a great job. It's very well put together. It's a good introduction to the kind of the feel of his world. And it is still just a slice, because I think that it gives you just enough information to make you go, oh, okay, cool. It's this kind of world. I wonder what else is out there. And then between that and the various pre-generated characters and some of the backgrounds that you can find in those character packets, there's a lot to chew on. And I think that it's, when it gets put together and refined, and it's going to be really cool. So watch this space for more on that. And that's really it. I didn't get to do a lot of other playing of games because of work. Now, when this comes out, let's see. When this comes out, I'm looking at my calendar, by the way, not just in the sky. It won't have happened yet, but I do have a scheduled all of my friends get together and play Magic night coming up. So play a little Magic the Gathering, a little card flop. That should be a lot of fun. And then next week, during just on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, me and a bunch of my friends are getting in the car and going to a very cool pay once, free play for X number of hours, massive arcade called it's called Galloping Ghost up in Chicago. We've been planning this for a couple of months now, waiting to figure out a good time. And we were like, you know what? The day after Christmas could be the best time. So let's make it happen. And so we're gonna. So that will be that'll be a ton of fun for us to get that squared up. The work week, the work part of Bryan's week. Well, it's been a good week, actually. Let's see. Got all of the grammatical changes, red lines taken care of from the editor on Night Court, my most recent finished Shadowrun novel. I still getting words down on the current one, which is a ton of fun. If I haven't mentioned before, I'm pretty sure I have, but I absolutely love working on working from a perspective of characters that I've actually played with at the table. It lets me kind of prop up the people who played those characters and show them as people and players that our interactions have meant something to me. And then also it allows me to expand on those characters and kind of leave my own little fingerprints on things that I feel would be beneficial to the character, beneficial to Shadowrun. It's just all around a cool thing that I like to be able to do. And so I'm really enjoying the current book that I'm working on. Let's see. I'm nearly done with the next rendition, or the next allotment of Wildkin for Dungeon in a Box, which I think I've got more coming after that, but at least this project will get done before Christmas break. Working hard on a very cool alien encounter, Everyday Heroes adventure. Which that should be a lot of fun. And let's see what else. Started actually getting to know what we're going to be doing for Evil Dead 2. Starting to actually do some planning. Something that I've wanted to do for a while, but not really had a good setting to do it in, has come up, and Devin has been like, yes, sounds like a great idea. So I'm excited to have an outlet for an idea that popped into my head months ago, and I just hadn't found a place for it. And the Evil Dead franchise is kind of the perfect place for it. More on that in the future. And then I also wrapped up on my part, my design development and stuff part of Wrath of the Sea Lich for Lou Gygax and Matt Everhart. That was I know I say ton of fun a lot, but I love what I do, and I love getting to work in all these different worlds and licenses and systems, and it really does kind of make my day professionally and personally. Knowing that Luke is happy with what I'm creating, and will then be going forward and using some of that stuff in his special appearances and his shows, and obviously at GaryCon. Just an all around fun to tie a bow on any kind of project, but when it's a project that for someone that you know and respect, and for a friend, it really is. It adds that extra little bit of an extra little sprinkle on the cupcake. Warzone. We are. I know I've seen this for the last couple episodes, but we made the couple of final adjustments to the print proof. Caught a couple of mistakes and sent that back to the printer to be like, "Hey, please fix these," and then go ahead and start sending us copies. And as soon as those start rolling in, we should be good to go to start packing stuff up and sending things out. So we are. Right, we just have to wait for the printer to get through, and then obviously for like Alex and myself and all of the people who have volunteered to help us pack boxes and stuff, we need to get through the holiday. Like here in a couple of days is going to be Christmas, and then immediately thereafter is New Year's. So we're going to try and get together and start packing stuff up and sorting things out as soon as a couple of weeks. I mean, it all depends on postal services and the weather and all of that sort of thing. But we're right there. We're so like, I can feel it. I sent out some not last minute, but a couple of some changes to the next round of stuff being play tested, and the play testers are diving in deep on things like the Wolfbanes and the Hussars, things we've already talked about. Some of the units have been showing themselves as just solid. The Samurai and the Hussars, they haven't changed much since their first rendition of being play tested. A couple of tweaks here and there, a couple of number changes, that kind of thing. But like the roles that we had envisioned for them, they came off of the designer's table, not perfect, but really filling the role that we wanted them to be. The Wolfbanes have taken a lot of work to get into what I feel is a kind of a sweet spot for them, where they definitely can get work done, but they're not superhuman. They're still soldiers. They're still regular human Imperial soldiers. They just have some proclivities that lean them a certain direction, and I think the current version of them is probably my favorite. I know now that we've shown off the Headhunter at PAX, we showed off his model. There were some worries of the Headhunter being too good. Recent playtesting has shown that just like anybody else, he can get dropped. He's just very good at his job. We'll leave it at that until we finalize things. And then there's a handful of other things that are being playtested that some people may or may not have seen. But it's still very early in those processes because we've got to get this fulfillment out. We got to get the Kickstarter stuff out, and then we have to start talking about how often we release stuff and how quickly we can get these orders. And who knows, if things go super well, I hope that they do. That if we start getting a ton of reorders from retailers or from our own web store very, very quickly, we will have to put those reorders for the surplus stuff into Trenchworks as quickly as possible. So it is one of those situations where new stuff is always going to be available. We're always going to be able to push out that new stuff because we've got things designed for a long time. And once we get it play tested and once we get it put together through its and ready for, okay, cool, it is ready to be, put out there for the world. At the same time, we might very well still need to be looking at Transformers and be like, hey, we've had a huge run on Hatamoto. We need you to spin up, another 300-400 boxes of Hatamoto. And that's going to get inserted in the queue, but we have to know how long it will be before that's done, before they can press something else. There's just a lot of moving parts. And right now, everything we've got is going toward getting the Kickstarter stuff and the tournament kits out. Once that is done, then Alex and I can really kind of figure out the push and pull of how quickly we need to release units, how often we need to reorder stuff, how fast the retailers will be reordering through us. There's just a lot of questions that have yet to be answered, and that's because we won't know until it gets out in the world, which will hopefully be very soon. Adepticon put up their wish listing program for the purposes of events, and we are on it for the Warzone Eternals, the Eternal Champion tournament, which a little closer to Adepticon, I will do a full episode on nothing but the Eternal Champion tournament to talk about the process, to talk about what you're going to do and what you're to expect, and what the prizes could possibly be. So more on that down the road. Xeogenesis is going well. I'm still deep diving on the new factions. December has been kind of slow for me on being able to get models on the table and games going. But there's been a lot of like comparing of stats and just checking things out, and I'll probably still do that through most of January too. Those two opening factions are extremely important to the longevity of the system, and how well it launches. Your first exposure to a game can be the make or break of, do I want to keep going? Do I want to further invest? Do I want to invest in another faction? So we need to take a look at how efficient they are, how effective they are on the battlefield, and how, I don't want to say like how well they're scaled, but you don't want them to be carbon copies of each other, because then it just turns into a red versus blue situation. You want them to feel differently, play differently, but be competitive with each other, so that way it doesn't tip the scales and everyone's like, oh, that particular force is so much better, and then you end up having to make a bunch of adjustments and push the pendulum the wrong way, and that's how you end up with that kind of swing creep that happens sometimes when you have few factions but rapidly adjusting ones. So more on that in the future as well. Apart from that, and that's pretty much my work. Evil Genius is going strong. I've got later today, in fact, I've got a good playtest session that I need to get in. The manuscript for Intergalactic Heroes is almost ready to go to the editors. I just need to clean up some language in a couple of places and write a very cool example of play for one particular mechanic. And then I get to go back into working on adventures and sinking my teeth into the Game Master's Guide. Also, on an Evil Genius note, all 4 books for the Legendary Bundle, so the two new Pacific Rim books and the 2 new Kong Skull Island books, are just about ready to get sent off to the printers. I've already seen the actual production copies of several of the other Kickstarter stuff, like the dice and the boxes and the standees and things like that. And they all look great. So just basically, it's frustratingly awesome to have so many things waiting to get out into the hands of the public. The Imarian Nights book for Lynn Vander Studios, that's currently in post production. All 4 of the Legendary books, those are currently in post production. The Warzone Kickstarter, almost ready to launch. Or almost ready to fulfill. I mean, there's so many things I've got just about ready to happen. 2025 is going to be a very good year for multiple companies, but also just for this guy in general. I think that there's going to be a lot of awesome opportunities. I know that my relationship with a couple other companies is growing to the point where at least one of them is sending me to a convention specifically to do their products, to do events and stage plays and stuff like for them. So I think 2025 is going to be big, but we're going to talk about more on that in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about today's topic, and then I will go ahead and let you know that because next week lands on Boxing Day, when I would normally record, I'm going to take the week of Christmas off from doing an episode. So you're not going to see a post-Christmas episode, but you will see a post-New Year's Eve episode in 2 weeks. So we're going to welcome 2025 in with a new episode coming out on January 3rd. So keep that in mind. Let's get to the topic. Let's talk about what this professional nerd would like for Christmas, for the holidays, and basically to cap out the year. What I would like. I was going to make a list, and then I realized that it might be easier for me to just sort of pontificate and give you the 4 or 5 things that I'm really, really kind of hoping for. We'll start with the most material things. I've got 2 right off the bat that I know I desperately would like. One, I still need the Necron Commander deck for Magic the Gathering. I want it badly. I'm a Necron player in 40K, or at least I have been for the last decade and a half, almost 2 decades, and actually, 2 decades. I've played Necrons a long time, but I play a lot of Magic, and I love the concept of that deck, but it has always it eluded me when it was on shelves, and then now that it's in the resale market, it is just a little too expensive for this guy to drop coin on. I may eventually slowly put it together card by card, but I would really, really just like it to appear. Thank you, Santa Claus. Let's see. Another thing I would like that this nerd would like is material wise. I really want I want a new, like a really good quality immersion blender. I want a stick blender. I make a lot of sauces myself. There's a lot of things that I would do that I look at and go, God, I just do not want to get my blender out, my Ninja. I don't want to get all that stuff out. I don't want to clean all that. And it would be just so much easier if I just had a stick blender to do that. So I want one of those. I know you're laughing because I'm not sure you're out there laughing, being like, we got in on this guy's episode today to talk about all the stuff he wants. It's mostly just me right now. I'm talking about the physical stuff. We're going to get into the more figurative things here in a moment. I would like, this is going to sound so banal. I want some pants that fit. I wear a lot of like athletic pants and athletic shorts, mostly because I'm a bigger person, and I spend a lot of time in this chair that's right here, or its counterpart out in the other part of the house. and it is just far more comfortable. For I mean, just I like to be comfy and cozy. I wear a lot of hoodies. But I do know that there are many times that I go out and I take a second and go, I'm going to need to put on like 3 pairs of pants to see which ones fit me, because my weight fluctuates so often between the gym and whether or not I'm taking care of myself, or if I'm in a slump, or, it fluctuates so much that you never know. I never know what is going to actually fit. So I generally just sort of kind of shrug my shoulders and go with something that is just comfy and not necessarily very aesthetically pleasing as far as like fashion is concerned. And I know you might be rolling your eyes, and I know I generally don't care what other people think. I do want to be able to represent myself and put my best foot forward, or my best leg forward, if I'm representing a different company or a specific license or something. So I hope to get at least a couple of pairs of pants that I fit well into. I would go so far as to say it'd be nice to get a new suit, but I never dress up to that degree unless someone has died or I'm invited to a wedding. And even then, unless I'm in the wedding, I try to dress up. I clean up nicely, but very rarely do I ever have a reason to fully dress to the nines. Maybe it's my lifestyle. Maybe it's by choice. There's definitely instances where I kind of go, I don't really want to go to this thing because it's all fancy pants. But who knows? As I heal and I get back to the gym and lose some more weight, maybe I'll figure out reasons to dress up and go out and be fancy. Until then, I just hope that I will have some stuff that fits. That's all that really matters to me. Let's see, what else? We start getting into the figurative stuff. I mean, there's video game things, and there's stuff for my Xbox and whatnot that I would like. Like if they happen to randomly show up and be like, hey, that's cool. I like the new. I need a copy of the new Dungeon Master or DM screen for the new D&D, the 2024 D&D. I would love that goofy Warduke helmet. Even if I don't know if it'll fit my giant melon, even if just to put it up amongst my other accoutrement, because I'm a huge Warduke fan, and I think he's a cool character. He always intrigued me, and I did everything in my power when I was in high school. If I was DMing, quite a few of the people I DM'd for came across Warduke, whether it made sense or not, just because I wanted to include him. So that's I think that's would be a nice celebration of the dear winged helmeted one. If I could make that happen, that'd be cool. And then we start getting into things that my personal wish list. I mean, obviously, I would love to make sure that I get enough work to pay for all my bills. I would love the U.S. government or the U.S. Disability Appeal System to finally greenlight Natalie for her going on 4 years worth of claim at this point. But until then, I just hope to be able to continue getting good gigs, creating good product, and continuing to have my footprint in the industry, and maintain my footing in the industry. I've been doing this now for over 20 years. and I absolutely, I can't see myself ever doing anything else. I mean, it's maybe some adjacent stuff, but like generally speaking, I don't see myself ever not creating stuff for games or writing fiction for universes. And I think that's one of the things that I really hope for my on my wish list is that it continues. I continue to gain and maintain and succeed at the opportunities that I am given. I know that my particular voice as a middle-aged Caucasian married fat guy with a beard, I know that my voice is one amongst many in the industry. I just hope that my skill and my creative talents and things help people see past the fact that I am part of that majority and continue to seek out my work. And I want to be able to share. I want to be able to share the stage and the writers' rooms and things with all the diverse voices, and be able to work with and alongside the community as a whole. That's really something that I really do. I enjoy getting a chance to work outside my comfort zone sometimes. And I'm hoping that next year I will get an opportunity to do that with other projects and with other creatives. I think that's something that every writer and every creative, every designer has to be honest with themselves about, is that we no matter where our voice comes from, no matter where our experiences and our inspiration stuff comes from, it does go through a filter of the things that we have been a part of, that we've been through, and the things that we have experienced, or things we've researched. But even then, it's still research. It's not the same as experiencing it. And I hope to be able to work with people that will help me understand those experiences more in order to assist my collective creations. Does that make any sense? I don't know. I might be rambling, but it would be extremely beneficial to the product, to myself as a person slash my professional self, to be able to work with new and other voices in the industry. And I hope that I'll have I hope that I get that opportunity. I've been very fortunate thus far, but I know I could be more fortunate. I know that I could definitely be able to work with other folk that I have not had the opportunity to do so, and I'd like to. So, yeah, there's that. Let's see. While I'm holiday wish listing, I really hope that somebody manages to land the Thundercats, Silverhawks, and Tiger Sharks license. And here's my call. Here's my my cat signal up in the air, because I desperately want to be able to create something in that universe on an official level. I mean, obviously, I could make Storm Felines the role playing game. Golden Birds. I could do the knockoffs, but there is something to be said for getting to actually work within the license, within the official realm of their scope and their projects. And I would be gobsmacked if I got a chance to play in that universe. So that's one of my holiday wish lists. I would love to get a chance and some free time to work on a little bit more, work on something for Essence 20, to do something, do a little Transformers love for Renegade. I know a source book that I would love to do, and Scott and I had talked about it before, and he was not against the idea. I know that I don't have the time, and I know that he would need to get a little bit of special permission from Hasbro to make it official. But who knows? Maybe next year I'll petition him to let me put it together. We'll see. I would like, I want to be able to do more live plays with, I mean, obviously I love the World of Shadows crew, and I love getting to play Hollywood and do Shadowrun. I mean, heck, season 2 is going to be coming out next month, I think, is what Rem said. I would love to be able to get a little bit more Legacy of Worlds in. I got to do one Legacy of Worlds event at a show, and it was a ton of fun. And having my Legacy of Worlds character, knowing that it exists and knowing that it's out there, I would love to get a chance to play more with Keith Baker and Ed Greenwood and Luke. And of course, Elisa and Tommy. But again, I get to play with them all the time with Shadowrun. But getting to play with the Legacy of Worlds folks, it was an absolute pleasure at Gamehole, and I really hope that I get a chance to get more of that in going forward, because it was a lot of fun. I hope to play some more charity events. I only got to do one charity event this last year, and I'm already talking about doing a charity Hot Ones challenge for the what are they called? I can't remember the name of the organization. Extra Life. There we go. I know we're already talking to the Extra Life Foundation to be able to do a gamer-centric Hot Ones challenge, so that'll be fun. And then come next year's Gamehole, I will probably end up doing some more charity work with Rob. I really liked getting to play X-Crawl with those folk, and I know he puts together more charity streams, and I hopefully will be able to be involved with those. I really want to be able to play more on stage, more live audience, more streaming stuff, because it gives me an opportunity to flex my acting muscles, but also entertain and make people happy, and that's the whole reason why we do all of this. My part of my wish list is hoping that I'll get to do more of that in multiple capacities. I also have a bit of a wish list. And this is where now we really are going to start. My last couple things that I'm going to talk about here are probably pretty meta. They're kind of consciousness type things. I think one of the first things is I really do hope to do my part to show the people and the fans and the creatives and the fans in the industry alike that people can make mistakes. Bad stuff can happen, and it doesn't mean that it's that we should color them in a way that they cannot function anymore. I don't want them to be a part of this industry because they did this. I don't want them to be able to don't work with that guy, he did this thing. And I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer in forgiveness, with very, very few exceptions. As long as someone is willing to fess up to their mistakes and make the adjustments, make amends, then I just think that it's better for people to want to better themselves. And the problem becomes is that if someone does something bad and you eternally vilify them and you never give them the opportunity to even try, they're going to see that and they're going to be like, well, since there's nothing I can do, I might as well just lean into it and be the bad guy that they think I am. And there's got to be hope. There's got to be a place where if someone's willing to make the changes and make the attempts, that we let them figure it out. Especially because despair has such a heavy hand in today's day and age, in the environment of today, especially politically. It is so easy to not care, or to not positively care, to look at something and go, I hate it, it's the worst, it's gonna, hey, me and my friends are all gonna get together and we're gonna tell everybody else that they should hate this or this person. And I really think that those people who see that, who experience that, who have their lives impacted by that they should be given the opportunity to potentially fix that. And if they're shown that it doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to be ridiculed or shunned or whatever, then they don't have a reason to even want to change. And they'll stop trying, and they won't make amends, and they won't fix things, and they're more likely to continue down that negative path. So yeah, I think that's one of my things that I wish for this holiday season going into the next year is I wish for more forgiveness. Not for myself. I don't think I've done anything that bad. I mean, I know everyone has pasts and everyone has done wrong. But like, that's not what I'm asking for. I'm not looking at you being like, forgive me for this thing. I'm saying I want more people to hear both sides of a story, stop condemning people that are willing to try and change. I mean, you can not like it, and you can distance yourself, and you can go, you know what, until they've proven themselves, changed and truly apologetic, and they're making amends, I don't want to have anything to do with them. That's fine. That makes perfect sense, especially if you're the wronged party. No one's telling you to, yeah, that person hurt you, please go stay with them and forgive them. No. What I'm saying is maybe the rest of the people out there don't just pick up your pitchforks and torches and be like, that person did wrong, they are now done, let's ban them from everything, they can't show up to this, they can't ever do anything else. Because I really do think that for the most part, people that are found to have done something wrong, or that are caught in a situation where there is no seemingly good outcome, I think most of the time I feel that people want to try and change that. They don't want to be in that position, and they don't want to put other people in a position to hate them. I mean, maybe I'm naive, but I do think that for the most part, when people get caught doing a thing, or people get labeled doing a thing, or whatever, that for the most part, we as a species want to avoid negative connotation and negative reactions to our behaviors and activities. And sometimes that takes a lot of growth and a lot of change and a lot of self-reflection. So here's my wish. I know I've been pontificating about this. My holiday wish is for more people to be accepting of the fact that people can make mistakes and that people should be able to be allowed to amend and fix them. I think that's important. I really do. I think that's an important thing. And then I think my most weird and kind of surreal wish list for end of 2024, beginning of 2025. I'm hoping for more people to ease back on their hyperbole. There's a lot of people out there that are throwing themselves 100% into a label, whether it is I am this, or I do this, I'm this kind of fan, I like this. And that's totally cool. And that's normal. I do it too. But it shouldn't be the only thing you are. We are all kaleidoscopic and multifaceted creatures. Even the most boring of people have multiple sides. And I think we need to start defining ourselves as the whole rather than allowing individual moments and individual labels and individual things become the only thing that we're good at, and the only thing we are, and the only thing that matters. I'm this, so you've got to remember that. I think we all just need to get better at just being us and being alive and interacting hopefully well. Because when you start creating boxes for yourself or others, and forcing them to live in those boxes through statements, through hyperbolic statements of, if you're not this, then, I don't like you. Or, if you don't believe this, then you're the enemy. I do understand being vehemently opposed to particular viewpoints. I know I am. Go figure. I'm a pretty liberal guy when it comes to my political spectrum. And it makes me absolutely crazy to know that there are people that I know and love that are so focused on particular topics and particular things that they're letting, whether those things are happening or not, they're letting it get to them so bad that they're becoming physically ill, that they're getting depressed, that they're reaching out on social media to people being like, hey, join my screaming session because of this thing. I really appreciate everybody's passion for the things that they're passionate about. But I do think that, and maybe this is a naive view, I do think that we let ourselves, and I'm guilty of it too, I do think that we let ourselves get too drawn in to the always and nevers. And we don't try and find that gray area because it's uncomfortable. And I think that's one of the things that I wish for leaving 2024 behind and going into next year. I hope that more people will find their own gray areas, find the things that they can go, oh man, but I get it, and that's so important to me. Is for people to start trying to understand each other and not immediately go, you're the enemy or you're an ally. You're on my side because you are this. And I just think that we need to... I'm going to geek out for a second. It goes down to what I've always said. I hate the term build for role-playing characters. Because when you're creating this persona, when you're creating this character, it shouldn't just be numbers on the page. It should be a living, breathing entity with goals and aspirations and some kind of background, some kind of thoughts, and its head should not just be roll a d20 and add 5. There should be actual thoughts in there, and I think that is what we all should aspire to be. We should not be the things that define us. We should be the sum of its parts. And one way to avoid that is avoiding hyperbole in our lives, is avoiding taking everything at 110%. It should be a natural progression. It should be the logical part of your life that it needs to be. If you stay up all day worrying about insert random thing, all of the opportunities that you've missed because you've spent all of that time focused and worrying, that's not coming back. That's not going to come back to you. And it is, this life is a weird one, and sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long and eventful, but it's different for everybody. And I really think that we need to get better collectively at just being people, rather than being people defined by our actions, rather than names and labels defined by more names and labels. I don't know. I might be just kind of rolling on, but that's pretty much all I want for my wish list. I know a lot. Give me a stick blender and world peace, and we're good to go. Yeah. So I really, this time of year always makes me to be a little introspective, and I hope that I do right by my kids. I hope that I do right by my friends. Yeah. And now I hope to do right by all you guys out there. So please, just have a safe holidays. Wash your hands, eat good food, then wash your hands again. Don't lick doorknobs, get your shots, wear a mask, treat people with a little bit of respect, and just try and leave every room a little happier than when you got there. And I think that we will all be heading into a much better year. So I will see you in 2 weeks to ring in the new year with all of my friends and fans out there. Until then, have some fun, play some games. We'll see you in 2.